Go check them out. They're a new spot, family owned and operated. So many different options on the menu to choose from. Yeah, you know I had to eat it right out of the oven. That was a hot slice. Baldanucci's, address on the screen. Go get some gelato, go get some pizza, and enjoy it. What's up, foodie crew? There's a brand new Italian restaurant on the far northwest side of San Antonio, Albi's Vite. This is their second location, and I'm super excited to be here to tell you all about the grand opening this Wednesday. And look at this. Everything is made from scratch, made with generations-old recipes handed down by the family. And look at all the ingredients to throw in there. Yes, that's lasagna, bruschetta. This right here, a penne pasta. They also have the shrimp that goes inside of the other creamy pasta. Everything that I got to try was just outstanding. A smoked paprika oil on the bottom of the bruschetta. Right there, a little feta cheese. You have the balsamic glaze that gets added on top. Look at this bar on the inside dining area. This is a private space as well. And look at the cocktails they have. Wine, lots of selections of wine as well. And everything out there just amazing. Look at that cheese pool on the lasagna. That had to be my favorite bite. Very simple, delicious. The best about it is right here, the lava cake. Go check them out. Albi's Vite, new location, address on the screen.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Justin Horn with a mid-morning update on your forecast. We've seen things get a little bit cooler this morning. The fog and drizzle have kind of let up a little bit, but we're still expecting to see some light showers today. The temperatures are going to continue to fall off, so we're in the 50s now. We may dip into the 40s by the evening hours, and certainly by tomorrow morning we're down to 42. On top of that, we're going to see some showers continuing to affect the area. Now today, I think most of what we're going to see is going to be pretty light. Few showers from time to time. It becomes a little more widespread tomorrow morning, so the Friday morning commute is going to be a little messy. See the shield of rain coming through, and I think that will continue through about midday before the rain comes to an end. Clouds hold tomorrow evening, but I do think clouds will eventually clear too, and we'll get some warmer weather by the weekend. 48 by this afternoon, drizzle, light showers, good chance of showers tomorrow morning. High temperature of only 50, so still chilly tomorrow, but 70 Saturday, 69 Sunday, a little breezy, but great. And then good.
We have gathered lots of new details this noon in a high-profile investigation involving a college student falling to her death in Austin, what police say they've uncovered. And a teen charged in his brother's shooting will have to remain in detention. Why a judge issued that ruling today. And the Texas Cavaliers with several big announcements today. The details we're learning about next year's parade and Grand Marshal.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Well, if you haven't stepped outside this morning, you will feel the difference. And if you don't go outside till this evening, the temperature changes will really hit you. And it's not just the weather headline tracking, could also have some light rain. Shelby?
Well, Courtney, you said it. It's cooler. We're sitting in the 40s right now. And even take a look at live cam. We're tracking some light rain already on our camera. Now, it's not going to be heavy rainfall for everyone. It's all associated with that weak cold front that came through this morning, but it still will affect our temperatures. We're already sitting in the 40s, and sadly, we're not expecting to get out of the 40s. But take a look at authority radar. Right now, we are seeing that light band of some showers moving through portions of San Antonio. And not only that, we're also going to continue to see the rain throughout the next few hours. The good news is it's not going to be consistently raining for everyone over the next 24 to 48 hours. That's not what we're expecting. What we are expecting is, as you see that light drizzle outside today, expect that and even actual rain over the next 24 hours. But not only are we seeing that light band move through areas near Sabinal and between Pearsall up through San Antonio near downtown, Schertz, basically following the I-35 corridor, this is already falling on some areas that did see some rain the last few days. Take a look at the last 24-hour rainfall totals. Yes, it might not look like a lot, but any rain is good rain for us here in South Central Texas. And throughout the next few hours, still keep that umbrella handy, but keep in mind it might not be heavy enough for the umbrella. It might just be that heavy drizzle throughout the next few hours. A 30% chance of rain throughout the next few hours, with our temperatures sadly staying in the 40s for most of us. But not only that, the winds, that's bringing some of that cooler Arctic and Canadian air down into areas of South Texas, gusting up to 25 miles an hour in San Antonio already, 31 degrees in Kerrville. Still seeing some stronger winds as this cold front continues to push offshore, which it already has. I'll go over the timing and the track of the rain chances today and tomorrow, plus take a look at the morning temperatures over the next few days coming up later on. Courtney.
All right, thanks so much, Shelby. Well, new this noon, just hours ago, Austin police released a lot of new information about the Texas A&M student who fell 17 stories to her death Saturday after the UT versus A&M game. Just a warning, you might find the details of the story disturbing. Police say in a press conference they found a deleted digital suicide note on Brianna Aguilera's phone from last week. Plus, they gave us a detailed timeline about her whereabouts in the hours leading up to her death. On Monday, Austin police quickly told KSAT there was no foul play in Brianna's death. However, her mother has said many times there are things that did not add up about the story, saying Brianna was fighting with a girl that night and she believes someone pushed her daughter and it was not an accident. Police say today they have interviewed the other people who were in the apartment several times and are going through cell phone evidence as well.
Between all of the witness statements, all of the video evidence, and all of the digital evidence collected, at no time did any evidence point to this being anything of a criminal nature.
We do have some questions for Austin police about the information they gave us this morning. We've reached out and we'll let you know when we get those answers. Our team is also putting together a full timeline of what we know. You'll be able to see that in our later newscasts and on our digital platforms. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or thoughts of suicide, call 988 or text 741-741. We have lots of resources as well on KSAT.com. A teenager accused of shooting and killing his brother was ordered to remain in detention after violating conditions of his release. That's according to a ruling by Judge William Cruz Shaw. The 13-year-old was charged with manslaughter in connection with the July 25th shooting of his 8-year-old brother Daniel Casares in the 3500 block of Bob Billis Street. San Antonio police say the gun accidentally went off when the teen was handling it. Sources told KSAT the teen violated conditions of his release, which prompted the juvenile court hearing this morning. The teen also picked up an evading charge. It's unclear which bond conditions were violated. Parents and students are reacting after a teacher was accused of sexually assaulting a student. San Antonio police arrested 46-year-old Eduardo Cantu. He teaches mariachi at McCollum High School and is accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl in his classroom. Authorities say the school learned of the allegation in mid-November, but most parents and students only found out after the arrest.
It kind of gave off that energy because he was a little weird around the girls.
I'm not surprised that this has happened again because, well, it's happened before, you know? It's kind of becoming a theme here at McCollum, it seems like.
Yeah, earlier this year, we reported on a McCollum basketball coach who was also accused of sexually assaulting a student. That coach ended up resigning from his job. SAPD says he has not been arrested and they have now closed the investigation. Well, a call to action at Harper ISD after a staff member is accused of invasively recording a 15-year-old girl off of campus. The suspect is Pedro de Luna III, and this morning the district is urging anyone who may know information about inappropriate conduct by de Luna to call Harper ISD Police or the Gillespie County Sheriff's Office. Court records obtained from Gillespie County show de Luna was booked and already released. According to a Facebook post by Harper ISD, the alleged incident did not happen on school grounds, it was not during school hours, and did not involve a district student. We've learned a driver who hit and killed a woman on the south side is not expected to face charges. 63-year-old Josefina Villarreal died after she was hit by a car and dragged yesterday on Roosevelt Avenue near Loop 410 just after 8 a.m. San Antonio police say the woman was walking when she was hit by the car. The driver told them he did not see her before the accident. A San Antonio police officer recovering after being punched, bitten, and scratched. It happened outside a business near Roosevelt Avenue on Loop 410 on the south side. Police were responding to a disturbance when they say they approached a man who they say is the suspect, David Perez, who allegedly punched the officer and ran off. Officers chased after him and used a taser. As they arrested him, officers say Perez allegedly bit and scratched that officer. She was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Well, the Texas Cavaliers are ready to Fiesta, and they're getting people excited for next year's event by unveiling the Grand Marshal theme and Fiesta medal for the 2026 River Parade. Leon McNeil and his wife Leticia will be Grand Marshals. They are the founders of the local nonprofit City Kids Adventures to educate and mentor inner city youth and give them a chance to explore the outdoors.
City Kids Adventures started as a simple thank you. Like many kids in the inner city, my life began with challenges and few opportunities. But there were people who took an interest in me, coaches, mentors, teachers, people who helped guide me toward a path of hard work and purpose. Because of them, I earned a football scholarship to Albi Christian University. And it was there that a single camping trip changed my life forever. I realized the outdoors could teach lessons the classroom never could. Emotional regulation, resilience, curiosity, and the joy of discovery. That experience inspired City Kids Adventures, and today it is our way of paying it forward.
The charitable honoree will be the Brackenridge Park Conservancy. Next year's River Parade theme will be Through the Decades. The Texas Cavaliers River Parade kicks off Fiesta on the first Monday of the festival. The 81st Texas Cavaliers River Parade scheduled for Monday, April 20th of 2026. Runners are converging in the Alamo City in the coming days, but this weekend's marathon is already having an impact on San Antonio. How much money associated events are expected to bring in? All right, taking a look outside, 49 degrees, cloudy skies, but there is some really good news today, Shelby, about the aquifer levels.
Yes, so we've seen that light drizzle over the last few days, and it's actually helped us not only with our drought, but the aquifer is actually up 0.2 of a foot, and we do have more rain on the way. And even better news, normally when we see the aquifer go up, we expect pollen to also go up, and really, molds are only staying low today at 300. It'll give you a time and track of that cold front and the rain chances associated with it coming up after the break.
Well, for the very first time, San Antonio is hosting North America's largest running and outdoor retail apparel convention and expo. It's called the Running Event, and it's been happening all week long. Stephanie Cerna reports it's brought thousands to the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, all leading up to the San Antonio Marathon weekend, which starts tomorrow.
The Running Event, which is a running and outdoor specialty retail conference and trade show, is officially here in San Antonio, marking a successful first year in its new location.
I heard this was in Austin before, so they made the move to San Antonio. That's a big deal for us, right?
That was a huge win for San Antonio, the city, Visit San Antonio. We had a little bit of luck when Austin decided to shut down their convention center and do some renovations, but we were up against some stiff competition to steal this away, and very proud that it will be here for the next 3 years.
The 2025 exhibit hall features 357 exhibitors from across the U.S., including 124 first-time brands. And with all these visitors here in San Antonio, the Running Event is projecting that they will have a significant economic impact on our city, bringing in millions in direct spending from hospitality, retail, transportation, and other services.
All of these exhibitors are here showcasing the 2026 apparel lines, the new shoe lines, to retailers to try to get them into their, next year's lines in their stores. And so it's the who's who of the running and outdoor world.
It's about bringing this industry together and kind of building the community within that industry. So we have a lot of networking events, a lot of opportunities beyond just the exhibit hall for people to really connect and meet.
Well, according to Visit San Antonio's economic projections, hosting the Running Event 2025 is expected to generate an economic impact of more than $5.7 million. That's fueled by $3.3 million in direct spending and millions more through indirect business sales, job support, and local tax revenue. The running event convention continues today, but this one's not open to the general public. We're told that some of these apparel and shoe brands from the convention will be part of the San Antonio Marathon Expo. That starts tomorrow at noon, and that event is free and open to the public. And likely inside, which is good because we got the cold front coming through.
Yeah, so that cold front came through today, came in about a few hours earlier than anticipated, but it still is providing us some fall-like temperatures, even though it's now getting ready for Christmas time and some winter time, but it's also giving us some rain. So take a look at this graphic. I have an overlay not only of the temperatures, but also the satellite and radar, just so you can see where the showers currently are, but also the cooler temperatures. So right now I want to focus on just in the hill country. That cold front's already come through earlier this morning, so it's allowed the temperatures to really get a little cooler. So we're sitting at about 43 degrees in Fredericksburg, 44 in Ozona. San Antonio at the airport, we're reporting 49 degrees, but we also are seeing some light rain move through. That's what I showed earlier at the top of the hour on Authority radar, but closer to the coastal plains near Corpus Christi, that line of some showers and thunderstorms just off the coast, already in the Gulf, that's where that cold front is. So it is already offshore, and now we're just waiting for the temperatures behind it to start to decrease. And in fact, we've already hit our peak temperature for the day, and it's just going to go downhill with still maintaining that 30% chance of rain throughout the next few hours. And our temperatures, like I mentioned, still going to go downhill with the temperatures already in the 40s, and even by midnight, we're still expecting them to be in the mid to low 40s. But notice the rain chances tonight start to increase more than what we're currently seeing. Here's why. We're seeing that cold front move through, and behind it, we're going to see that increasing showers and potential near the Gulf Coast to really allow that moisture, that southerly flow of that moisture, get pulled into areas of San Antonio. So yes, we're still going to have that chance of some showers, but there might be that heavier chance as you go to the east, towards Houston, towards New Orleans, even near Atlanta. But for us, that's just going to allow that chance for some showers to continue overnight tonight into tomorrow. And in fact, we're expecting the morning commute tomorrow to be a little messy, a little damp, still dreary conditions today throughout the morning hours. But tomorrow morning, we're expecting the heaviest rainfall to be possible, specifically right before the morning commute, just furthest to the east. But then we see another push of that moisture finally making its way through. By the afternoon, I do expect it to be a little better. Still near the coastal plains, a few chances of some showers, maybe a thunderstorm. But then that cooler, those clear skies really feed in behind it, still allowing for some cooler temperatures where we do see the clear skies. And further south, closer to the valley, there is still the potential and that possibility of more showers going from Friday and even into Saturday morning. But for us, the clear skies are already going to feed in Friday night. And yes, there is still some light rainfall potential because we are still going to see a little bit of a chance for consistent rain, but really, it's not going to be a lot. Take a look at the rainfall totals expected. Maybe a few tenths of an inch, maybe a few hundredths as you get into areas of Medina County or even to the hill country. But zooming out closer to Houston, to Galveston, to Beaumont, even towards Lake Charles, they're expected to get upwards of half an inch to even more depending on, which means that the cold front came through and the rain chances are leaving. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Still watching some excess humidity being possible Saturday, so we are still expecting a morning fog being possible. Warmer in the afternoon. We're getting to the 70s here in December, and on Sunday, for the San Antonio Marathon, might still be a little breezy, but we're expecting the temperatures in the morning to be in the 50s and peak temperatures in the 60s. So we are expecting some perfect running weather for all the runners going out and about Sunday morning. And then our temperatures continue to decrease just a little bit as we go into Monday into Tuesday with a weak cold front moving through. Now, our temperatures only staying in the low 40s for us, and we rebound back into the upper 60s and low 70s by Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. We look forward to that. The San Antonio Zoo's Congo Falls gorilla habitat is filling up. The zoo just welcomed 3 more great apes to the community. 3 males, Shauna, Bawenzi, and Juba, arrived from the Dallas Zoo and are expected to make up a bachelor troop or a group of single males who will live alongside the family group. The family group will be made up of 3 females and 1 male who are already settling in. In total, 7 gorillas now call San Antonio home. The Congo Falls habitat opens to the public next Saturday, December 13th. In Seguin, the community is invited to celebrate the Christmas season with a stroll to the stable, a special holiday experience running through this weekend in downtown. The event will feature displays reflecting the Christmas story and traditions, live music from local choirs and bands and musicians, plus 4 nights of fellowship, reflection, and holiday spirit. Well, scammers are targeting the elderly. Now, a local council member is pushing the city to do more to protect people. Scam text messages, knocks on their door, even people they know. The elderly are often targets for scams and financial exploitation. A San Antonio City Councilwoman wants the city to take more steps to protect older people here. Garrett Berger tells us how.
Whether it's providing no soliciting signs, lobbying for stronger laws, or providing access to legal aid.
Unfortunately, right, there will always be bad folks out to do bad.
Councilwoman Terry Castillo says it's crucial the city of San Antonio protect seniors.
Our expectation is that this initiative helps alleviate the impact that we're seeing in terms of door-to-door fraud.
Castillo pointed to solar panel solicitations as a concern, which she says can veer into the criminal side.
The completion of the work is not completed, right? It's essentially fraud in that they're not completing the scope of work, in which they forged the signature in one instance, which is a crime, and then of course not completing the project as well.
One of the ideas she laid out in a policy proposal includes updating the city's rules for door-to-door sales.
Ideally, if established, there could be opportunity to potentially call Constituent Services Office, call 311 to verify that is in fact a registered solicitor with the city.
Or helping seniors easily sign up for do not call lists, though that won't necessarily stop a scammer.
There will always be bad actors, unfortunately, but we have a responsibility to use every tool in the toolbox to ensure that we're adding additional protections and barriers from the financial impact to our seniors through these bad actors.
Our fraud-related offenses are rising.
Castillo says her request was prompted by a police presentation earlier this year. It showed hundreds of cases of property crimes against the elderly.
Again, highlighting that a lot of this financial fraud, is underreported because it's oftentimes someone they know.
Well, Castillo's proposal also includes elements for education and awareness. So here are some tips we found about how to make sure your older family members are not getting scammed. Lots of cash or ATM withdrawals, checks written out in numerical order, unexplained changes in power of attorney, sudden increases in credit card activity, or lots of bounce checks. Well, a state is suing TikTok. Why they say the app poses a danger to kids. Well, if you have been outside like our live cam shot is showing, it is definitely gray and it's actually drizzling a little bit.
It is, Courtney, and I know a lot of people didn't like the chilly, dreary weather conditions yesterday, and sadly, it's gonna stick around not only today, but also tomorrow. And the good news is, though, it's providing much needed rain for most of us here in South Central Texas. So let's take a look at Authority Radar. Just give you what you need to know. We're tracking that light shower and some light drizzle moving through portions of South Central Texas. Even some folks getting actual raindrops. Now, some of them are still going to be experiencing that light drizzle, but any rain is good rain here on Authority Radar. Now, zooming out, if I zoom out, there we go. Took a super zoomed in area. Most of us here in South Central Texas are experiencing some much needed rain, but here's the thing, it's just that one line going from College Station through basically the I-35 corridor down through areas near Uvalde, Eagle Pass, Cotulla, and it's just that one very light band of the showers, not even seeing any lightning or hearing any thunder. It's still that light drizzle for most of us, and that is still possible today, tonight, and even tomorrow. The rain chances finally taper off Friday night, but what we're watching is Friday morning specifically. We're experiencing some much needed rain, and it might be a little heavier than what we saw yesterday or even today for most of us. It's actually going to be some normal rain, and that's all because of that cold front that came through that's allowing our temperatures today to only get to the 40s for us here in San Antonio. Others might barely scrape by in the 50s, but some cooler air is feeding its way down to South Texas. I'll talk about where other areas are seeing the much cooler air coming up in just a bit, Courtney.
All right, thanks so much, Shelby. Well, this week marks 6 years since authorities found a woman's body burned in a field in southwest Bexar County. Megan Gonzalez was just 20 years old when she was murdered, but her killer has still not been caught. Her father tells Zaria Oates that he will never stop searching for the person responsible.
I just hope to get justice soon, and actually, I wish I could get it as a Christmas present.
It's a Christmas present Eddie Gonzalez has hoped for every year for the last 6 years. Eddie's daughter was Megan Gonzalez, and she was just 20 years old when she went missing in November of 2019. About a month later, on December 3rd, a farmer found her on his property in southwest Bexar County, about 40 minutes away from her family's home.
He's the one that found my daughter, and he found her unresponsive.
Megan was murdered and burned to a point of being unrecognizable. Eddie tells me he's been working with detectives at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office for the last 6 years to find suspects, but no one has been charged. That's why he's worked with different nonprofits, used social media, and gathered with other grieving parents in San Antonio to try to get any answers he can. Even this past week, helping another parent, Lori Rocha, try and get answers for her son's murder case.
Hopefully one day she'll get justice for Aaron also. I don't see how these criminals can walk around and enjoy their lives, be with their families, and have a good time without, thinking what they've done. It looks like it doesn't bother them.
What does justice look like to you?
Want them to get arrested so I can get a closure, me and my family. And I want them to be locked up.
There is a $5,000 Crime Stoppers reward for anyone who has information that leads to an arrest. If you have any information about this case from November 10th to December 3rd of 2019, call 210-224-STOP. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Well, the FBI has arrested a man suspected of planting pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. the night before the 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. CNN is reporting multiple law enforcement sources identified the man as Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia. The arrest follows a nearly 5-year investigation into the person seen in this grainy surveillance video. The pipe bombs were found near both the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters. They had been placed there on the eve of the January 6th insurrection. Well, Hawaii is taking TikTok's parent company to court. The state filed a lawsuit against ByteDance, saying TikTok was built to be addictive. Officials accuse the platform of using design tactics that exploit children's vulnerabilities and fuel anxiety and compulsive use. The complaint says TikTok keeps users online longer to boost data collection and ad revenue, comparing TikTok's features to tactics used in gambling. Hawaii also claims TikTok misled the public about safety risks. The lawsuit seeks to stop TikTok's alleged deceptive practices and force new protections. President Donald Trump announced a rollback of emission standards set by the Biden administration. Under President Biden, modest increases were made to the fuel economy targets for new vehicles in a push to battle climate change and increase electric vehicle sales. The president suggested rescinding the standards will lower car prices, but automakers still have to meet tougher mileage rules in some U.S. states and other countries. So the costs of building vehicles may not actually go down. Therefore, prices will not be lowered for consumers. A bipartisan group of 24 lawmakers will unveil a plan to prevent mass spikes in health care premiums. Sources say the 2-year plan would include a 1-year extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies with targeted modifications. The second year would include more significant changes as well as ways to offset the costs. The lawmakers want the vote to take place by December 18th. The subsidies are set to expire at the end of the year. Child deaths worldwide are projected to rise for the first time this century. The Gates Foundation new report says an estimated 4.8 million children will die by age 5 this year. That's an increase of 200,000 preventable deaths compared to last year. The foundation blames a nearly 27% drop in global health funding, citing cuts by high-income countries, including the United States. It is urging governments to invest in primary health care, calling routine immunizations the best buy in public health. Jobless claims fell sharply during the shortened Thanksgiving week. New Labor Department data shows 191,000 people applied for first-time unemployment benefits during the week that ended November 29th. That's a drop from 27,000 from the prior week's revised tally. However, claims activity typically dips during the holiday weeks. Continuing claims fell by 4,000 to 1.93 million for the week that ended November 22nd. The level of continuing claims remains near a 4-year high. It indicates that it's hard for people to find work when they lose their job. Hiring activity has slowed this year amid heightened levels of uncertainty, waning consumer confidence, and household affordability concerns.
The admiral who oversaw that controversial strike on suspected drug smugglers September 2nd is speaking with lawmakers today on Capitol Hill. I'm Christiane Cordero in Washington with the latest coming up.
Well, the Spurs used some late game magic to pull off another thriller last night in Orlando. De'Aaron Fox went off for 31 points, including the Spurs' final 10 points, and he sealed it with 2 free throws just over a second left. Orlando still had a shot, but big man Luke Cornett came flying in with a game-saving block as the buzzer sounded. The Spurs win 114 to 112. They improved to 15-6, won 7 of their last 9. Even without Wemby in the lineup. The Spurs will continue their road trip tomorrow at 6:30 at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, Wemby and Steph Castle will hopefully return within a week.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it is a cool Thursday afternoon in December, still seeing that dreary conditions, but I do have some good news. If you don't like the cooler temperatures or even the cloudiness, we're expecting a warm up and clearer skies later in the afternoon. Temperatures both on Saturday and Sunday getting to near 70 degrees. And if you love the heat, good news, we're sticking around to being above average for most of us, not only in South Texas, but in Texas in general. I'll talk about the cold temperatures some folks have to see before we get to this warm up coming up after the break.
The admiral who oversaw the September 2nd boat strike off the coast of Venezuela is briefing lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. Some legal experts and some lawmakers from both parties say that second strike that killed survivors in the wreckage could have violated international law. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, Admiral Mitch Bradley, accompanied by Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Dan Kane, arrived on Capitol Hill in silence before briefing lawmakers behind closed doors.
General, what's your message to the American people?
At issue, the U.S. attack on a suspected drug boat September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. This is video of the initial attack. A second attack, which hasn't been released publicly, was launched after 2 survivors were spotted. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says he wasn't monitoring the operation after the first strike, and it was Admiral Bradley's decision to launch the second strike.
He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back.
Sources say the survivors were seen climbing back onto the boat, potentially in communications with others in the area and attempting to salvage some of the drugs that had been in the boat's cargo. Because other vessels were in the area, sources say they were considered a valid target.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have 2 individuals in clear distress without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
Several lawmakers from both sides of the aisle accuse Hegseth of dodging responsibility for the attack.
He has Bradley's back just enough to push him under the bus, which is what they are doing in effect.
These commands came from him, and I think the buck stops with him.
International law prohibits killing enemy combatants who no longer pose a threat.
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years.
The Defense Department says legal advisors were also monitoring the attack. President Trump yesterday promised to release video showing the second strike. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, that cold front has already pushed through areas of South Texas, leaving behind just some light drizzle and even some thunderstorms closer to Houston and near the coastal plains. But really, most of it is out of our neck of the woods and behind. We're just left with that cloudy, that dreary, damp day before more rain chances start tomorrow morning. But I want to focus on the cooler temperatures we're seeing behind this cold front. We're not expecting to get near freezing, but we are still expecting temperatures to be closer to average. Right now, sitting in San Antonio, sitting at about 50 degrees, 49 Seguin, 51 Castroville, 52 Canyon Lake. And it's all because of those northerly winds that are pulling some of that cooler air down, with wind gusts up to about 28 miles an hour in Canyon Lake, 24 here in San Antonio, 27 miles per hour in Floresville. So all that cooler air is being brought in by that northerly wind, allowing for some feels like in some wind chill temperatures even. Now for us in San Antonio, we're not feeling too much cooler because the winds, yes, although they're strong, aren't strong enough to make it feel a little cooler. But take a look at Minneapolis, Minnesota. They're feeling like 6 below. Pierce, South Dakota, they're sitting 20 above, but still seeing those cooler temperatures of what it feels like compared to their actual temperature. And all of that cooler air most of the country is feeling is because of that system and that cold front that just came through. And that's going to allow our temperatures over the next few days to even still be a little on the cooler side. Abilene sitting at about 37 degrees right now. Dallas sitting at 46. Denver, Colorado, 34 degrees. And take a look at Canada. All of that cooler air is still feeding down into areas of our neck of the woods. Winnipeg sitting at 13. But take a look at Churchill, 18 below. Even Saskatoon, Saskatchewan sitting at 28 degrees. So here's a look at what we're expecting. Here in San Antonio, we're still expecting temperatures to be in the 40s to the 50s when you're waking up. Some might still get into the 30s, but all of the cooler air that we're expecting to be to be brought in from areas of Canada isn't going to make its way further down to our neck of the woods, much like what we saw this week and the last few weeks. All that cooler air is going to stay pulled up in along the international border near the Great Lakes, going up to the northeast. So they're expecting still to see some below average temperatures. But for us in San Antonio, we just have an area of high pressure coming over this week that's going to allow our temperatures to stay a little warmer. But we are still getting a little more hints of some stronger Arctic blasts that could hopefully bring some cooler air, but really we're still going to stick around in the 40s to the 50s while you're waking up. Our average temperature in the morning is about 44, and we're going to be on either side for the next few days, getting to 41s to even up there in the 50s. And tomorrow, temperatures getting to about 50 as our peak temperature for most of us. Really still sticking around, staying a little cooler before the San Antonio Marathon arrives this weekend on Sunday. Should be a good day for runners, and the skies clear up starting next week as you're waking up in the 40s. Still seeing those clear skies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Not as much of a dreary week next week compared to what we saw this week, but right before the show ends, I'll show the latest drought monitor and if there's any changes coming up later on.
Still ahead, a Good Samaritan stops to help another driver and wakes up in the hospital. He's sharing his story with us this noon.
I was hit so hard, I flew over the vehicle and landed in the bed of my truck. How do you hit somebody like that and not stop for him?
It has been 2 months and counting since Edward Ruiz and Victoria Rogers were both hit by a driver and left for dead. We still don't know who that driver is, but as Patty Santos reports, we're hearing from Edward Ruiz, the Good Samaritan who risked his life to save a stranded motorist.
He stopped in the medium of the dark FM 78 near Loop 1604 to help a woman with a flat tire. Then a car hit them both.
So I'm guessing I got hit right around here and flipped over, ended up in the bed of my truck.
The impact lifted Edward Ruiz off the ground. The driver sped away, leaving the two people hurt in that dark road.
They actually didn't even know where the second driver was until somebody looked in the bed of the truck.
It was just after midnight on September 14th.
Pitch black outside, and I know it's a really difficult spot, but I was in a good mood, and I don't normally stop for people. But I said, you know, why not?
The next thing he remembers is waking up in the hospital. His first thought was for that woman.
And my question is she alive?
Universal City Police say they were both hit by this silver or gray Ford Fiesta hatchback, model year 2011 to 2019. The driver could face charges of failure to render aid.
Where they connected my neck to my skull.
Ruiz suffered over 14 fractures. Part of his intestine was removed, and he faces more surgeries. He has this message for the driver.
I know I haven't been perfect either, but even if I was wasted, I know I hit two people. And this girl, he didn't care. Just kept going.
Ruiz expects to be out of work until next spring and says his savings are gone. So if you know anything about this crash or who owns the vehicle, call Universal City Police at 210-658-5353.